Hi everyone, it is Holly and I'm back with another smash or trash video, and this one is going to be a little different because I really just wanted an excuse to do this and I needed to have less books that are like forced to read. I'm also running out of ideas for the series, so you know. Anyways, so today, or in this video, we are going to talk about Percy Jackson and the Olympians, specifically The Lightning Thief, the first book in the Percy Jackson series. So we're going to talk about the book, we're going to talk about the film adaptation, and we're going to talk about the season 1, which should be Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief show on Disney+. So yes, and I will not be avoiding spoilers. I probably will to some extent because that's who I am, but this book has been out for a long time, the movie's been out for a long time, and the show has been out for a couple of years. So at this point, I'm not avoiding spoilers. Anyways, so going into this, I have read The Lightning Thief once before. I've read the whole Percy Jackson and the Olympian series and the whole, is it called Heroes of Olympus? Whatever the second set of 5 books are. I've read those as well. I have seen the movie. I'm pretty sure I own it on DVD. And I've seen the first 2 episodes of the TV show, and then I stopped watching it for no reason. So, but I did decide for this video I was going to reread the book, I'm going to rewatch the movie, and then I'm going to watch the show. I'm going to watch all, I think it's 8 episodes. So I do remember enjoying the show when I was watching it, and honestly my hot take on the movie is that I remember enjoying it, thinking it was a fun movie. Before watching it again, I remember, to me, the Percy Jackson and the Olympians movie, The Lightning Thief, was kind of like how I view Ella Enchanted adaptation, in that it is a fun, good movie, but a horrible adaptation. And so we'll see what I think this time. But yes, but I did, in the last week, finish my reread of The Lightning Thief. I listened to it on audio, which was fun. I had originally read this book with my eyeballs. And there was a lot I forgot about this story, honestly. I had remembered a lot of basic things. I remember basic characters. I remember the blue food thing, but for some reason I thought that was more Percy centered, and it's really his mom getting it into Gabe, her husband, because he says there's no blue food, which is true, by the way. There is no blue food. But so then she makes blue things, and I'm kind of I like that idea better than it, in my head it was Percy, but it's cute that he and his mom have that. And then but I remember parts of the challenges that they go through, but I didn't remember the fact that the news was kind of talking about Percy and saying that he may have killed his mom and everything. That's messed up. And I did not remember at all Ares getting involved in all of that. Basically after we leave Medusa, I remember nothing, apparently. So I didn't remember who stole the lightning bolt. I didn't remember why they stole the lightning bolt. All of that, I freaking, I can't remember his mom's name now. I keep wanting to call her Nancy, but I feel is that her name? I don't know. But Percy's mom, Sally, her name is Sally Jackson, she kills Gabe with Medusa's head. What the heck, Rick? That's a lot. But I did not remember that at all. So yeah, there was a lot I didn't remember, and I don't know. So I am curious. I think a lot of the stuff I don't remember is not in the movie, and that could be part of why I don't remember it. No, some of it is I just forget things, but I am curious to see, because I'm assuming the show is a pretty faithful adaptation. I know people really like it, and that Rick was pretty involved in it, whereas he hates the existence of the movie. So there is that. But I remember enjoying the first 2 episodes I did watch, so that's fine. but I gave this 4 stars the first time I read it. I gave it 4 stars the second time I read it. I really enjoy it. I think it's a fun movie, or a fun book. The whole time I was reading it, I kept thinking, like, is my nephew old enough for this? Like, when can I give him Percy Jackson? And my nephew is a fantasy boy, okay? He is a fantasy boy. But he is very much so, like, a dragon's otherworldly fantasy boy. So I'm like, I don't know, like, would he like Percy Jackson? Like, I don't know. And I don't want to, like, push things on him. And there's a lot of books he likes to read and he asks for. So, like, I don't want to kind of make him feel like he can't read those books. Like, he is a big reader. He loves reading, and I think that's amazing. But I also, like, part of me is like, but we could share this. We could share Percy Jackson. Anyways, so he is like 7. So if that, like, impacts if you have an opinion on when perhaps I could introduce him to this. So yes, but so that's like my brief thoughts on The Lightning Thief, the book. And I think I'm going to start watching the show, and I think I'm just going to update you after I watch the movie and after I watch the whole show and tell you what I think about them as adaptations, and probably just in general talk about it. So a couple of days ago, I finished the first season of the Percy Jackson TV show, which is the only season I am watching for this video because we are just talking about The Lightning Thief. And I am not going to talk about it. So first I'm going to talk about the show as a show and not as an adaptation. I'm sure some adaptation bits will come in, but I have nobody to talk about this with. So you are going to be the one I talk about this with. Also, I did really enjoy this show, and I thought that they did a very good job visually. So I am one of those people that I like don't watch a ton of like TV and movies anymore. I was never a huge movie person. I definitely lean more towards TV than movies, but either way, I don't watch a lot of that anyways. But I have noticed the trend of things being very dark, like visually, and this was not like that. There were moments, there were times when it was, which it made sense for it to be, but the whole thing wasn't dark where you feel like you're like squinting and like trying to turn the brightness up, like all of that stuff, which I did appreciate that choice. Also, I thought that like the CGI elements were done very well. There were a couple moments where, like, yes, you can obviously tell they're on a CGI background and stuff. Like the creatures, I feel like were very well done. Grover, like his legs and stuff when we see them, were very well done. Also, I just like the style and effort they put into like the Camp Half-Blood outfits, the like the helm, the lightning bolt. Like, I don't know what I pictured the lightning bolt being, but I kind of like what they did. Like, to me, it was just like a lightning bolt. But I did like that. So, what I should have taken notes. I was thinking about this yesterday. Today is Memorial Day. Yesterday was Sunday, and I was gonna film this yesterday while it was like fresh in my mind, and then I had a family party that went way longer than I anticipated. But the acting also, I thought the acting was so good. Disney and everybody involved in this did make the decision to not age up this cast, and as much as I think that that is a good idea, I understand why studios often do age up, and like they did with the movie, which I have not rewatched yet, and that's because it is easier, I feel like, to work with late teens or even like adult actors who are just playing slightly younger. But when you can get a good like child actor, in this story, I feel like it really is a like preteen into teen story, and there's so much that like the heart of it is Percy being like 11 or 12 years old. I think they found amazing actors. I do not know how old, let me actually look this up, because I feel like the actor that plays Grover is actually older, because I just feel like he is. Okay, so as of right now, like in 2026, the actor who plays Percy, he is like 17. I would have thought. The actress that plays Annabeth, same age. But like, I think she's technically 16 based on her date of birth. And then the actor who plays Grover, just says born May 6th. Cool. I'm still maintaining that he is older, but I guess I will never know. So yes, and then there is an actor who plays like younger Percy, and sir, you did such a good job. Like, that is even young, like, so good. His scenes with Percy's mom, he was very good, very, very good. And then speaking of Percy's mom, that actress, actually, let me look up her name so I can say it. I feel like I have never seen her before. Her name is Virginia Cull. Oh, apparently she was in Big Little Lies. My parents watched that. I did not. She, ma'am, every scene you were in was spectacular. She did such a good job of conveying so many, like, the difficulties of being a mom in this situation, like the choices that Sally has to make. And like, we don't see a lot of that in the book, obviously, because the book is told from Percy's perspective, but like, you could tell how much she loved Percy, but how much she was struggling with, how much she clearly loves Poseidon, but like, being Percy's mom is so important to her, and she is going to do anything for him. And like, especially those scenes when you get these flashback scenes with her and younger Percy, so good. I wouldn't say any actor was like bad by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, so I did really like the acting. Is there anything else that's not adaptation related? I don't think so. If anything pops into my head, I will tell you. So let's move into this more as an adaptation. So they did something that I feel like the Hunger Games did a little bit, which I think is the right choice. And that is, like I said, the Lightning Thief is told from Percy's perspective. It's told in first person from him. And so you only get what he knows and what he is seeing, experiencing. But in this show, they choose to either show us things that like we know are happening, but we don't see in the book, or to expand on things or slightly change things to add more like stories, scenes, those kinds of things. And honestly, some of those choices were my favorite. And I think that they added to the core story and like the original story. And this is what makes a good adaptation, in my opinion. So like, there is a scene towards the end with Sally, and she like basically calls on Poseidon, and it is just it's beautifully shot. It is beautifully acted. It is like, it shows so much about her. It shows a lot about Poseidon. I honestly don't really remember Poseidon in this series very much. So like, does he show up a lot? What is his relationship like with Percy and Sally throughout the series? Do not remember. But in here, I feel like we get this struggle that he is having as a father. And I think that that is a very beautiful thing to see. They also do some things with Grover that I also really appreciated. Like, we kind of get Grover to grow as a character, and I'm hoping that we will see more of that going forward with Grover, but also with Annabeth, because I think they didn't do as much with Annabeth as they potentially could have. They actually did not include a lot about her back. They included a little about her backstory, but not as much as maybe they could have. But I'm hoping we will go there in the future. So like, there is a spot, and I cannot remember for the life of me. I just read this book like a few weeks ago. When they meet Ares, and he sends them to get his shield at the like amusement park. And I cannot remember if Grover doesn't go with Annabeth and Percy to that, but he doesn't in the show. And in the show, we see these moments with Grover talking to Ares. And honestly, maybe my favorite thing in the whole show. The Grover kind of like manipulates Ares in such an intelligent way. And I think it is it was great acting by both of them, by Grover and the actor who played Ares, which is a lot for me because I have an Ares in my heart, and it is the Ares from Xena Hercules and Young Hercules, and he is hard to replace, but I felt like this Ares did a very good job, and it was very well written. It was very smart and entertaining, and it kind of like makes you think while you're watching. Like at first you might be like, is Grover like a bad guy? Like what? Obviously, like I know he's not, but it was so well done. I liked that addition to Grover's character. I think Grover is smart, and that was like one of my favorite additions to the show. I'm trying to think if there's any other big like additions or changes. They did change like the Medusa stuff. I didn't love that choice. Like I didn't understand the choice. Like they almost immediately know it's Medusa and all of that. They also changed the ending with Medusa. Like he doesn't give Medusa's head to his mom, and she doesn't. Gabe like just kind of disappears in the show, and maybe we'll come back to that in season 2. I don't know. But Percy's just with his mom, and so I don't know about that. Which is fine. Like that's not like a bad thing. It was just kind of like a loose end, but again, we know that there's a season 2, so it's not the end of the world. I didn't understand why they changed the Medusa thing. I didn't think it necessarily like weakened the show or anything. It was just like an interesting choice. Adaptation. So smash or trash? If you can't tell by now, it is an obvious smash. I thought this was a very good adaptation. I think this is a very good example of how to use the source material, still tell the same story with the same like heart and purpose, but to modify it for a different medium and a different form of storytelling, like the perspective you're telling it from. So it was very good. I will watch season 2 at some point, and I hope they continue making them. It did kind of make me, between watching this and reading the book, it did kind of make me want to get back into this world. But I do not have time for that, so probably not. So hopefully soon I will watch the movie, and I will let you know what I think about that one. Oh, ignore that. I'm rearranging things. When I'm in the chaotic stage right now. I'm also going to crochet while I do this. I just finished watching Percy, and that shoe, I can't find the other shoe, so I just keep holding on to that one because I'm going to donate them because I barely wore them, and I feel like once I throw it away, I will find the other one. But maybe I should just give in and throw it away, but I keep it like top of mind. Anyways, I just finished watching the Lightning Thief movie, and let me tell you, that was a movie. So I think I said this before, that to me, how I remembered this movie was the way I look at Ella Enchanted, in that it is not the best adaptation, but that it's a fun enough movie. And let me tell you, I guess it's a fun enough movie, right? Like younger me, it came out in 2010, so I would have been like 21 when it came out. Not necessarily the target demographic. And I think I actually saw it before, no, I would have seen it before I ever read the books, and maybe that like played a role. But this movie is basically generic young teen action movie, like slightly better than what you would see on like a Disney Channel original movie, in like the way it's written and the way that it's acted in a lot of ways. And like no shade to a good DCOM. I appreciate a good DCOM, but can we all agree that they are typically a little on the cringy side? A lot of like younger media is, like when you're an adult. We do in fact make a lot of changes with this. So you know, everyone knows immediately that Percy is Poseidon's son, except for Percy. But like that is how the movie starts, with Poseidon and Zeus fighting, or like talking about him. And like Chiron knows that he is Poseidon's, like everybody knows. Everybody. And I guess that's fine, but they of course age up the characters. And I think I did say this in the version of this where I was talking about the show. I understand the desire to do that, but I feel like it does this story a disservice by aging them up. Also, in aging them up, I fear they made this a tad too sexual for me. Am I just an old lady now? Because Persephone is in this movie. And she like all like aggressively flirting with Grover, and like, no, it's gonna be a no for me. Makes me super uncomfortable. They take like the casino, the Lotus Casino, Auntie M's, all of that stuff is in there. They go to the Parthenon in Nashville instead of going to the St. Louis Arch, which honestly was probably just easier for them to film. But so they have that. Also, there's no oracle. They sneak away. They're not sent on it. Like, Percy's not sent on a journey. Instead, he sneaks away to try to get his mom and like to rescue his mom from Hades. And they're not seeking the bolt. He's just like gonna go tell Hades, like, I don't have the bolt, but can you give me my mom back? And that is a choice. So I think what this book or this movie ended up doing, because there's no Kronos, there's no like larger thing, there's no Ares. Ares is not in this at all. It's just Hades, Zeus, and Poseidon, basically. I think what they did is they didn't know if there would be another movie, and so I think that this was more conceptualized to be a standalone story where they could write more, do more, but this could stand on its own. And so they took out some of the larger like background mechanizations, and I understand that choice, and I don't begrudge them that choice, but I feel like they do sacrifice a lot when it comes to character with that. I feel like there's really no character development here, especially with Annabeth. I feel like she barely exists. Like, she says some stuff like about her mom, but like she says she grew up at Camp Half-Blood, and it's like, but I feel like her actual story is more interesting. And again, I understand if we're not trying to go there, we're not trying to go there. But also, like, I feel like you don't have any reason to care about this relationship between Annabeth, Grover, and Percy. Like, I feel like their friendship, their like trio friendship, is so good and important, in how they interact with each other in like in groups of 2 and in a group of 3 is an important part of this, and you don't have that. Also, Annabeth, we have no mention of like Annabeth having any relationship with Luke at all, of Thalia's presence, which again, I think they are just trying to not build a larger world so that this can be a self-contained story. And again, I understand that. I think that is not that big of a deal. If it was like just that, it would bother me less. I'm trying to think. I don't know, like, it was fine. I guess I would watch it again, like, maybe, like, if somebody wanted to, but I don't really want to now. Like, I feel like I had more positive thoughts about this movie before I rewatched it like, today. So, that's kind of sad. But, so that, and then can we talk about something, because I did not mention the Annabeth casting in the show version, but I feel as if I have to address it now, because I was pretty confident that they had not dyed Alexandra Daddario's hair for this movie, but I could not 100% remember if that was the case. And they do not. She is brunette. And I would just like to know what Hollywood has an issue with making smart blondes, which also, like, Annabeth here, she's not smart. She's not stupid, but like, you don't have anything telling you that she's Athena's daughter, that she is smart and crafty, but also that she had, like, we don't talk about how dyslexia and ADHD like plays a role in how they're half-bloods and how that's like almost like a superpower for them. And I feel like that's, as somebody who does not suffer, like, does not have either of those things, I feel like that was a huge part of these books, is that kids who have these struggles could see Percy and could see them succeed, and see people like Annabeth, who like people are going to think that Annabeth is very smart. She is like Hermione Granger, but has struggles that she has to fight with and everything. So like they're missing that in general. But I do feel like we have this like unwillingness to like acknowledge smart blonde characters. And like it's such a minor thing, but like we basically have Elle Woods and that's it, okay? Like it is kind of annoying. And I do know a lot of people that is something that they really liked about Annabeth. And it is something like there's a lot about Annabeth that I have really appreciated and respected in how Rick wrote her. And I was a blondie for a long time. I have not seen my natural hair color in a good 10 years, maybe longer. But I think if I let all this grow out, this would be like relatively close to my natural hair color now. But I was pretty blonde through my youth. If I remember, I will insert a picture as proof. I don't know what I'm saying. I got distracted, sorry. I know that there was some hullabaloo about the actress casting for Annabeth for the show, and I think that a lot of people had an issue. Well, I don't even know how much of an issue it is. I feel like sometimes people make small, like, minor people complaining about things into a bigger deal than it is, and I think that was the case here in a lot of ways, but because the actress is a black woman or girl, but like, and that is fine with me. And like, I'm not saying they should have put like blonde hair in her, like it's fine, like, but like I'm less bothered by that because I assume that they cast the actress that they thought was the best for the role, and it is what it is. I am more bothered by the Alexandra Daddario lack of coloring her hair because I feel like it would have been more natural to color her hair blonde. Not that you couldn't have dyed the actress in the show blonde or put in like extensions in her braids that are blonde. Like obviously you could have done that, but I feel like that would have been like a forced try to adopt it in to like make people happy. So I'm fine with her hair the way it is. And like it is a minor thing. I can see that. But although, has Alexandra Daddario ever been blonde? Because I'm not sure she can pull off blonde. So that could have also been a choice. But it does sadden me that we do not have, you know, the blonde representation. I got distracted by a phone call, so I don't remember what I was saying. But, you know, it's a movie. There were a lot of big names in this movie, which I think is pretty common for stuff like this. Like Uma Thurman, Pierce Brosnan, Sean Bean. I do love me a Sean Bean. That's his name, right? Yeah. I feel like there were some others, but I can't remember. And I'm pretty sure Nathan Fillion plays somebody in the next one. Because they did make Sea of Monsters. So, I don't know. Okay, so smash or trash. I am going to give this a trash. Going into it, I thought I would say give it a grudging smash. Like it is, like it's not like if you watched it, you'd be like, that is nothing like the source material. It is more accurate to the source material than Ella Enchanted is. But I just feel like they made way too many choices to differentiate it. And while some of those I understand why, I think in its sum, I'm going to say trash. I'm going to agree with the people now who do not like this. So there it is. I have been converted. It is what it is. So yes. So those are all my thoughts on The Lightning Thief. Hypothetically, I could do this for book 2 maybe next year, and I guess make myself watch Sea of Monsters. I don't know. So, and I believe only movie or TV show season 2 is out, but I believe that they are working on season 3. So, we'll see if I want to do that, because I do kind of want to keep reading these. I have so many books to read that like I only have so much time. But I am glad, if nothing else, that I have finally watched the first season of the show. like finished it and that I reread this because I did really enjoy it. So if you have watched any of these, let me know your thoughts, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.